Well, hello, hello. How's you guys doing? I feel like it's been a little while since I've done one of these live YouTube streams. I just wanted to share with you some interesting thoughts I've been having about the Sync Match app. More specifically, not about the app, but about you guys, those of you that have been using it. For those of you that are in Sync Academy tuning in, I think you would be really, really well served by watching this stream today. And if you have questions, comments, concerns, would love to hear from you guys. But essentially what I've noticed already from a few of the members that have been uploading tracks is it's sort of you're sort of divided into two camps as you use this data, and more specifically when you upload a track, right? So using the tag match feature where you can upload one of your tracks, have it tag your track, and then analyze it and give you results in terms of where your tracks sort of line up based on how similar they are to the tracks that are getting placed. And these are the ones that are getting placed in our data from top 10 channels, okay? Not from every single TV channel out there, but anything that's getting placed on these channels, we are detecting it. So for me, that's a really good healthy sample size of the trends, the overall sample trends of what's happening in our industry. So that's what's happening. So as some of you have been using the tag match feature, and by the way, if you guys are on the app, I put a little feedback button here and I emailed all of you guys this morning. I would love to have every single one of you click on this, fill out this form. It's very couple of minutes, 100% anonymous. I want you to be very, very honest with me about what could be better, what's broken, what's great, what's useful. I am really depending on all of you to steer me a little bit in terms of where we need to go next. We've made a lot of improvements and rapid changes in the basically last 3 weeks that it's been available for those of you that are in Sync Academy. What's up, Excel? And I want to keep doing that. I want to keep having this conversation go on where we constantly iterate and we take new suggestions and we see what we can do. I've gotten some suggestions. I'm not going to guarantee that we can do everything that you guys want to do with this app. Some things are just not possible, not feasible, too expensive, too complicated, et cetera, et cetera. But if there's something that I feel like we can do, I'm going to do it immediately. And you guys have seen that have been a part of this. I'm making changes within a couple of hours when you guys have some great suggestions that are like, oh, I wish I would have thought of that. So we're serious about making this better and stronger for all of you guys. But if there's something that I feel like, well, maybe down the road we could do that, I don't think we're ready to do that now. I'm adding it to a list so that nothing is basically being unacknowledged. Everything is being acknowledged. Sorry, there's a siren going by in the background if you guys hear that. Thank you, Excel. Yeah, I appreciate you giving me some feedback. But okay, you signed up, but you haven't used it yet, Mackie Mark. That's cool. I've seen a few members still haven't signed in, haven't uploaded tracks, and totally get it. No big deal. But please do use it. And what's up, Rick? Good to see you, man. And so I want to kind of get into what I really started this live stream for today, which is just to talk about how finally getting access to this data is kind of making or breaking some people's careers. And what I mean by that is that, go back to 2008 when I first got started. When I first got started, I worked with a production music library CEO. He gave me a shot, gave me a couple of contracts, said, yeah, start making music. And more importantly, I remember he gave me, it might have been like a USB drive back then. It could have been even a CD of great high quality rock tracks in a production music library. I think they were in his, they might have even been in somebody else's, but it was basically like he said, here's your blueprint, here's your guide, here's your reference tracks. These are the tracks that get placed, like make your music sound like this. And I remember when I got that, I felt like I had the keys to unlock my entire career. Because I said, you're just going to tell me essentially how I can make my music, not steal it, but just understand how it's structured, how big it is, what elements are included, how fast does it change, what are the edit points, right? All these things. And that'll tell me where I go in terms of which tracks are going to get placed and how I make sure that I'm making music that's high in demand. Finally, something like this is available, because up until that point, I was making music for artists, trying to pitch tracks, trying to collaborate, trying to get on albums, right? Get on records, going to the studio, staying up till all hours of the night, all that good stuff, or maybe not so good stuff. But it was always a crapshoot. Like, is this going to be a hit song? Is this song going to be something the artist likes? Is this little guitar lead I'm adding to their track good or not? Like, it's that mystery box, a massive mystery in front of you of like, is this going to be good or not? And a lot of times you don't really know. And so what getting that little set of reference tracks was like, this is everything for me. This just shows me what I need to do to make sure that I'm going to be the most competitive and basically producing something that's in demand. I mean, I'm already interested in making music for sync. Why not tell me exactly how to make the music that could be placed the most, right? That is, to me, why I was really encouraged and excited about this industry. For about half of you, I think, I'm just making up a number, maybe it's not 50% exactly, but for about half of you, when you guys get your results on the app and you upload one of your tracks and you see, essentially what similar tracks, or at least the tracks that are in the same genre as yours, and you get these similar ones. This one's the indie rock and majestic one, and you listen to this, and it sounds somewhat different than yours in a variety of ways. Some of you are going to interpret that as, this is awesome. Like, now I know exactly where I need to go to become more like the in-demand tracks that are getting placed, right? That's about, let's just call it 50%, for lack of a better number I can't really come up with. But, and this is what I'm still trying to figure out, how to, deal with this issue, and it's a bit of a delicate issue, but it is an important one, is there's a good number of you that are going to get these tracks. You're going to get your results. You're going to click play on the Spotify link or download the MP3 of the snippet. It's not going to sound at all like your music. Very different, extremely different. Like, not even in the same universe different. It's going to sound very, very out of what you have been producing, very far away from what you've been producing. And you can interpret that in a couple of discouraging ways. Some of you might hear that and go, I have such a far way to go. This isn't the path for me. And maybe that's true. I don't know. Maybe you don't really have the patience or the desire to really stick it out for months, years, to get to the point where your tracks start to sound like the ones that are getting placed. That's possibly true. So, hey, what's up, Yella? Yella just secured a huge, what was it, PS5 trailer? Yella, sorry, I don't remember the platform, but a huge video game trailer he did. So that's great, man. Yeah, this one I'm a little bit late. I went to the gym earlier today, so I'm kind of later day today. But yeah, some of you guys will just decide it's not worth it. Getting to the point where my tracks sound like these ones, too much of a bridge for me to travel. I'm not doing it. I'm not going down that path. That's your choice to make. We wish you all the best with that. Some of you might interpret it as, well, this industry just doesn't appreciate my artistic genius, right? The things that I think are really important, the music that I want to make, I'm not compromising on that. And if this is where the industry is, then I don't want anything to do with sync. That's also a justifiable, very understandable, and legit argument to make. And I think that is going to be something that could be a side effect benefit of using this app and getting access to this data, is you will be pretty much either getting confirmation of like, okay, I'm sort of heading in the right direction. My tracks might not sound just like this music, but I'm in the wheelhouse. Like, I can see a path to get to where these tracks are. Some of you might feel that way. Others of you go, I don't like this music. I don't think this is good music. I don't want my music to sound like this. I don't even want to go in that direction. If this is where the sync industry is, at least the tracks that are getting the most amount of placements, count me out. Or maybe I don't really care about being that competitive. I just want to make some music that I like. And I don't care if my numbers are 87, 48, 27. I don't care if I'm hitting the top of these. I just want one placement. That's really all I'm in this for. And that's okay too. Some of you might be there. But I do want to basically just kind of have more, we've had these conversations many times on this channel and in this community, but I do want to have a lot of these conversations just to be honest about, this is kind of what sync is. We are not here to just only focus on our own internal artistic flair of exactly what we want to put out into the world. We are also, in a very large part of what we do, we are here to serve an industry. And so if you've been sort of not sure how to exactly serve this industry, these tracks, based on your genre, based on your track that we've matched you with, are your guide for how to serve the industry. These are the tracks, for one reason or another, that are getting the placements, the vast majority of the placements. So that's kind of what I wanted to center on today. So I'm really curious, for those of you that are watching now, 12 of you guys that are here, what have been your impressions if you have uploaded the track? Have you felt more motivated? Have you felt less motivated? Did you feel like confirmation, like, yep, I'm going in the right direction. These tracks that are getting placed feel very similar to mine. Did you feel like, completely disoriented because it's like these tracks don't sound anything like mine. I think I'm going in the wrong direction, or I don't think that, maybe you saw something that just was confusing. Like, I'd like to know that as well. That's kind of what I want to have the conversation about, because I think there's going to be some, I don't know. I'm figuring out also, as I'm taking your guys' notes and getting your guys' experience with this, I do want to potentially, alter how you guys perceive, or how you guys are presented with this information on your results, to make sure that it has the highest chance of making you motivated. If you get on here and you feel completely demotivated and your bubble is popped because you use this, what did I spend all this time and effort for? That would not feel good to me. I would not be very proud of the fact that my app is crushing people's dreams. I don't want that to be part of the legacy of this app. And I know some of that's obviously out of my control, but if there's something I can do to help you guys see and steer you in a motivational direction, getting this data and getting the music that you guys are seeing and the recommendations here, I'd like to be a part of that story. And I'd like this app to be a part of that, helping you guys get more competitive and staying ahead of the trends, right? Yella saying, for those feeling down, it took him 6 years to get his first trailer, and that just happened yesterday, the public release of it. So it's a marathon, not a sprint. You're absolutely right, Yella. Congrats to you, man. And I know it's just the beginning for you. You got other ones in the pipeline, and you're going to definitely get more and more kind of stacking up. It's like that snowball effect. It takes forever to get it going, but once it's going, the train is running. So your career starts to take its inertia of its own, which is a beautiful thing to see once it starts happening. Let's see. Definitely not motivating, Excel. So you're saying the app was not motivating to see your results? I'd like to hear more about that, Excel. If you can kind of pop it in a concise form in the chat. I'd like to know what was not motivating. Polka might be the top genre. Not to say there's place for other genres. Yeah. Polka hasn't shown up in our data yet, so it's still waiting for its day in the sun. I mean, what we honestly need, everybody knows what we need, is we need a pop artist to come out with a polka album. Once that happens, the rest of the world will just chase it blindly. But Billie Eilish, we're looking at you. Once you get your polka album out, then we'll go for it. Or maybe 21 Pilots. I bet maybe 21 Pilots could do something like, they could probably pull that off. Dreamcore, it's a great tool, and we'll be signing up. Very cool. Yeah, still no public release date, sorry. We've gotten a couple of questions about that recently. Don't have that set. I'm not like in a rush to put this out publicly. So I do want to get this right, and I want to basically really kind of have an ongoing conversation for those of you that are in the early access of this and getting access to this data to see how it's working for you, what's not working, and make adjustments, because like I said, those of you that have signed up, you are our founding members, and that's not just about a discounted rate that you guys get to sign up for. You literally are helping to steer this thing. Like, you are the sort of first users of it, the first early access users. And so your feedback and what's working for you is going to help me decide what changes we make before we release it publicly. So if you are a part of the early founders rate, be vocal, and definitely the best way you can be vocal is by using this new give your feedback button that I put at the very top of the tag match tab. So please do let me know that. Felipe is saying you are motivated. Awesome. Even if you had to change genre. Very cool. Okay, you're in Sync Academy, so you can do it soon. Yeah. For those of you that are in Sync Academy, maybe you guys don't know where to find the link to sign up. Well, I can't show it because it might actually give out the link, but in Sync Academy, just go to the left side of the screen. You'll see there's actually a link that you can click directly on to sign up for the early access. So I'm just not making that link publicly available, but you can still sign up now if you wanted to get those founding rates for sure. Working on attention albums, so I want to tweak those tracks if needed. Yeah. And this is exactly what you should be doing if you guys are going to start working on some new music, okay? Genre mood. I just put out a video tutorial on this, but you click on the genre mood tab, come down here, click on tense. Can you guys all see that? Yeah, you guys can see that. Click on tense. Okay, you want to know which track we detected got the most placements right here. Black and Throne Orchestral CBS from Brand X Music. It's 106. It's in D minor. It's an instrumental, of course. And this placement we detected was 16 seconds, but the track itself is 176 seconds. So you do need to divide it by 60 to get your total track length. But you can listen to it, listen to the placement, go to the Production Music Library website. So I mean, this has got to be for a lot of you guys. It's got to become your go-to. All right, I want to start an album. What should it sound like? What reference track should I use? These are the winners, right? And so we've sorted these by the most amount of placements that they've received. Okay, you can go to all of them though. As you can see, there's 15 pages worth of tension cues. So you've got lots of choices. But again, which one do you select out of 15 pages of all these tracks? Well, one way you can classify this and why we ordered it this way is which one's getting the most placements, right? And so that's kind of where we do that. And of course, if you want to find out, I'm basically giving you guys a lot of the data that only members get right now, but whatever. You can find out which production music libraries are the most active with tension music. That could be really useful and valuable for those of you that want to start pitching to libraries. Knowing which TV shows, of course, use tension music, and of course, which channels are using them the most. Maybe some of you guys are shocked to find this out, that it's actually Food Network of the ones that we're monitoring that use a lot of tension music. So that's kind of interesting stuff to know where you fit in and what's going to be happening here. So, yeah, C minor, D minor, easiest keys. It's interesting. Like somebody was asking, like, does it really matter? Or somebody was saying, man, I've been composing my tracks in the wrong key, and I don't think that's necessarily how we would interpret this data. These are the overall keys that were used. As you can see, it's kind of everywhere. So there's not necessarily, you'd say A major, E minor are kind of sticking out a little bit, maybe D sharp minor, but I wouldn't ever take this data and go, well, I've been composing the wrong key. That's why I'm not getting placements. The primary reason why tracks get placed or don't, it's the quality of the music, and is it providing the exact mood, genre, vibe that the client wants. They're not obviously going, well, both these tracks are great. One's in D minor. I like D minor better. I'm going to just take that track. They don't know. Most clients have no idea where your tracks are being. It's interesting. It's something that we can analyze, we can detect, we can let you know. You can do this also. Actually, I don't know if I fixed that yet. I don't think I did. Yeah, I still need to add. That's one thing I'm going to be adding here is the keys. But again, this is one of these weird things where, like, if I add, the key here and say, like, all right, if you're doing tension music, and I say, well, most tense tracks are in the key of, because you can see here, again, you click on any one of these, you can see D minor for that one. Go to the next one, A minor, right? So we can obviously just put all that down here and just show you, well, most of them are D minor. I don't want you guys to kind of limit yourselves and going like, well, I have to make D minor tension music, or I have to use these instruments, or I have to do that. That's not what this is. You should be using this for, that you have to do anything, or that, whatever. But it is a sort of kind of a North Star, just to kind of point you in a particular direction, to say, this is where the marketplace is. These are the trends that we're picking up, for better, for worse, whatever they are. If you're starting your next cue, this is what I told the member. I said, don't think of any track as being composed in the wrong key. It's like the key that you compose in should be the right key for the track. Sometimes you got to up it, down it, depending on how the track feels, right? But if you're starting a new tension cue, you're kind of writer's block, don't know how to get started, log in here, find out what's the top one. Okay, 106 D minor. Why don't you start your cue at 106 BPM and in the key of D minor? That's not copyright infringement. That's not ripping them off. That's just using similar metadata, essentially, right? That way you're in the wheelhouse of something, and obviously listening to that track and understanding the qualities and what it does, what instruments are in there and all that good stuff, just kind of gets you started, right? And at least you have you've got a GPS turned on, and it's pointing you with a compass in the licensable direction, and then where you go is kind of where your creativity takes you. So it's not so much about right or wrong or any of that kind of thing, but it's just more about, here's the overall trend. Here's where the trends are going. So anyways, how much was Japanese horror? We don't have Japanese horror per se. I'm sure maybe some of if you go back here, you can go check out our you go back, you go to scary. Yeah, we don't have it broken down by Japanese horror, so we don't have that kind of minutia or granular detail. We just can tell you that it's a scary, sounding track, and which genre it was a part of. But you can definitely check out all these if you guys wanted to listen to them. But interesting for sure, Japanese horror. Yep. So Excel. All right. I do a lot of sports cues, and when I put in the system, I get mixed info. It'll tell me that the song is sports, but not anything in the genre that I'm submitting, okay? These tracks have placements on TND already, but the genre is not showing up for sports, which is trap orchestral, okay? So I think what you're talking about is maybe the suggested use case. So one thing, and again, this is why I'm glad we're getting this feedback. So you'll get the suggested use case. Okay, this does not mean that your particular track landed in a trailer or a promo, if that's maybe what you were referring to. This is a suggested one based on the fact that your style, your genre of music, and your mood typically generally would land here. Okay, so this is not an end all be all. It can only be there. This is just saying, well, based on, and again, what is this based on? This is really based on my judgment. Okay, so this is something that I programmed into the system. This is something that I told the auto tagger essentially to do, the generative or the whatever, the AI model is essentially analyzing this and spitting out the output. I sort of trained it to notice certain patterns and output certain things. So that's really my call. But this is suggested, okay? This is not the end all be all. So if you uploaded something that does get placed for sports, it might come up with trailer promo. That doesn't mean that it can't also be used for sports. But again, I'm glad that I'm getting this feedback because I don't want this to be something that gets confusing of people going, well, it's getting it wrong. Well, maybe your track could be used for a trailer promo and sports. In fact, your tracks will probably be used for a variety of different ones, right? So, I mean, one thing I can maybe do is just to expand this a bit more. So it's not just giving you one suggestion. I mean, this has two, but basically you could be a comma sports as well. So I don't know. Maybe that could be something we could add to it as well. So, and also let me know, Excel, have you uploaded a track since June 1st or 2nd? Because we did make a pretty significant change in the recommendation system. How we're tagging you. There was kind of this, not a glitch, but just a way that I had structured it before. It didn't make a lot of sense. Now realize that. So let me know also the last date you uploaded it. And I'd be curious if you've uploaded since we had new data on June 1st and also since we made this kind of tweak to how we pair you guys up and match you guys up. And for all of you guys that signed up, when you look up sports, I didn't see one trap track, which was weird. Okay, you're talking about in the TV shows. You looked up sports shows. You uploaded yesterday. Okay. Well, I'll take a look at your account after I'm done here, and I'll kind of maybe see if I can see exactly what you're talking about. Because yeah, we don't necessarily have a sports genre. We have shows you can look up. When you look up sports, let me know where did you look up sports? I'm guessing you went through the TV shows or something. But yeah, usually you can just find it by your genre or your mood. That's where you can find that. You said trap. There was nothing in trap. Orchestral trap? Let me see what you said. Yeah, because we definitely have trap. There's techno and there's trap at the very end. So definitely got trap cues. And some of these are going to be for sure like trap orchestral. Fox Sports. Got it. Okay, so you looked up Fox Sports. Yeah, okay. So Fox Sports. Indie rock funk. Gotcha. Okay. Those are the most placed ones. Got it. Yeah, so these are only the most placed tracks. These are not the complete comprehensive. I would almost guarantee you if I expanded this more, maybe I should. Maybe I could have this like much more, many more tracks. I'm almost guarantee you will find there'll be some trap tracks, but you're only seeing, I think I just limited to the top 10 per channel. Again, trying to figure out like how much data is useful to get a sense of what's going on and how much is too much for you. I don't know, maybe... yeah, let me think about that. Maybe we could add just letting you guys search through a lot more with that. Maybe that could be it, how you did it. So, okay. Yeah, I'll look into yours. I'll kind of see where things are going. But that might be where the confusion is. If you look at one page, you go like, well, yeah, you can see here the genres. None of these are trap. So maybe trap is not doing great with Fox. But meanwhile, you might find that, on the next page, maybe that's where a lot of the trap tracks are living. And so it can give you a sense of like, ooh, trap isn't the right one. It's definitely not showing up in the top... whatever these tracks are. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they're not showing up in the top genres. Of course, orchestral certainly is. So yeah, got to put some thought into that. Yeah, not weird seeing it. And also, this is just Fox Sports. There's also ESPN. There's other sports channels as well. So this is not like saying, well, because Fox isn't showing it as a top place, there's no trap in sports, TV. Nope. Obviously, we have no idea right now what's going on ESPN. Like we don't have that data yet. So yeah, that's where there's some limitations to this data where we don't have a full 360 view of everything going on. Again, what I'd like to do Probably starting next month, I've kind of got a plan to do that, is to get some limited data from many more channels. I don't know if I can afford to get the complete data from every other channel. That's the thing that's really expensive, is to get all the placements for what's happening on a variety of channels. That's not cheap to do. If some of you want to know, like, why are we only doing 10 channels? That's why. These these equal lots of dollars every single month that I pay to get this data. So I'm not scraping anything. I'm not going and taking people's catalogs or anything like that. This is basically me going to a vendor and paying somebody a lot of money to get this data, to basically feed it into our app. I clean it up massively. I do a lot of cleaning just to make sure we only have the data that's useful for us. And then we're kind of pairing it with these tagging systems and all these other features on the app. So Vittorio, hey, that's a serious app. Incredible work for anyone who's worried about AI. Well, here's something that's betting on human music. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm trying to get human beings more prepared for success, obviously, in our industry. And I know there's been some recent updates. There's been a rumor that maybe the major labels are settling or working out a negotiation with the Suno and the Udio lawsuit and stuff like that. I don't know how much of that is confirmed, or that's just kind of rumors. People are speculating all kinds of things. I don't really have an opinion, because I think some of it's just like, what good is an opinion when we don't even know if that's really happening or not? So when something is ruled or something is announced officially, like, I'll come out and I'll let you guys know what I think about things. But the speculation of like, well, what does this mean? This is bad or good? I don't know. To me, it's kind of like, it's a waste of time. And I'm pretty busy right now building this thing, so it's just not something I'm not really wrapping my head. I don't have any brain power to really wrap around those kind of issues yet, at least for now. So. And anybody else, before we hop off today, if you guys have used the app, what's up, Brendan? Good to see you, man. Used it, and have you felt encouraged, discouraged, confused, getting clarity? I've heard kind of a mixed bag. I've heard some people saying this has been a game changer, making them extremely efficient now, knowing exactly where they need to go with their music, which libraries they should be pitching to, which kinds of music they should start working, how to adjust their approach maybe and going in a more licensable direction. I've heard that. But I've also heard people that are like, man, like, I don't know if my music really is the right kind of music for sync. I just don't know. If it feels like, again, it's making and breaking some people. And I wouldn't say breaking, maybe that's premature to say that, but it's definitely red pilling. It's definitely opening up people's eyes to, there is a numbers game to this. Remember, I told you guys this from years ago. From those of you that have been following me for a long time, I've been telling you there's a numbers game to this. You want to be the one that composed Voltage Vertigo. Why? Because 180 placements speaks for itself. That's 184 royalties, right? And I don't know how much is that going to be. Depends. It's on ABC. It's airing during Nightline, which is probably really good prime time. Probably good money coming to this composer right here. Okay, so you if you want to really treat sync as your full-time job, you really need to sort of stack the odds of success in your favor. And so that's why we're sorting things the way that we're sorting them and giving you guys the kind of winning tracks and the longest place tracks. Obviously, the longer the track gets placed, the higher the royalties generally are. There are other variables as well, but I think that is why this can be an eye-opener for some people, because we all want to be a part of this business. We all want our music to get placed. But when you get into seeing the data itself directly, you realize, wow, some libraries are killing it. Others, maybe not so much, at least from this data. Some styles of music are getting tons of placements. Others, not so much. Maybe your style of music, not so much. And that can be disheartening, right? That can be kind of like a real, an eye-opening thing that can be discouraging. So I think everybody's going to be on their own path for that. Some of you are going to see that and go, all right, feels like a cold slap in the face, but at least now I know where to go and I'm motivated to go there. I'm going. And this app helped me get out of my, maybe less profitable path, less chances of having profits and securing placements, to now I'm stacking the odds of success much more in my favor by going in this new direction, right? Based on the data, not on a hunch, not on my opinion, none of that stuff, based on real data. Some of you are going to take that, and others might just say, that's the end of the dusty trail for me. I'm done. I had fun going down this path. Now I realize that this is just not for me. And this app maybe freed me up to go do something else. And that might be, the side benefit of this, that like, it's not necessarily not negative thing at all. In fact, that could be a really positive thing to free some people up to just stop beating their head up against a wall for something that's just not going to be in the cards for them in the long run because they don't have the energy to keep doing it. So maybe that's where this goes as well. We'll see. Brandon said, app is great, but could be better at breaking down subgenres. So do you mean by identifying subgenres? He said it helped you step up your game. That's great. So when you say breaking down subgenres, if you can be a little more clear on that, like the subgenres you're getting in your results aren't accurate, or, because this one shows metal 3 times. That's an error. I should look into why it's saying that. And maybe that's what you were talking about. It's not. Oh, and you know what? I know exactly why it's doing that. Okay. Note to self, I got to fix something. Maybe I just identified what your issue was, but yeah, let me know also, Brandon, if you had something clear on that. But yeah, let me change that. I know exactly why it's repeating that. It's just a little bug. Again, guys, first time making an app, so I'm going to make tons of mistakes. I have made tons of mistakes. We've already had the app down for not a full 24 hours, but oh my gosh, I was kind of having an ulcer when that went down. We had our tag match feature go down the other day for a couple of hours and had to wait to get customer support to kind of lift our limits and get back online because we had so many people using it, and I guess I didn't have the right limits in place to handle that kind of traffic. So now we do have that. So my apologies in advance that we're not going to have everything ready to go and perfect. We're definitely going to make a lot of mistakes, but I guarantee you we will fix it fast. I've been fixing things very quickly. Got it. And the metal it recommends sounds more like swagger rock. Yeah. And that's the kind of subjective part about this, Brendan. We're going to be trying a couple of other tagging models probably in the next month. That's what I'm working on behind the scenes right now. And it's kind of one of these things where I agree with you. Like some of the genres that the system says is whatever, alternative hip hop, you'd go, well, that's actually more like trap or classic rock. Like that's kind of more like blues, or, these aren't perfect. And I don't know if there is going to be a perfect system, because one thing that also I want you guys to be aware of is that you just see one tag for each one of these, right? So you see like orchestral. Okay, orchestral is huge. Is that really a genre? It's the best that we could basically do to try to categorize these in a way that's meaningful for you, okay? So like some of these you'll see, I'm trying to think of an example. I don't like indie. This is a perfect one. Indie, is that really a genre? It's kind of like I don't know. It's like I don't know if it is a genre, because you'll see some tracks in here that are kind of electronic based, others that are more folk based, like acoustic instruments based, others that are kind of more experimental and weird, like synth based. Where do we put all these weird things? Well, indie is probably, a lot of times for every single one of these tracks, there's actually 3 or 4 genres. It'll say, electronic, maybe electro pop, indie, and folk. It'll have all of those in one track, in each one of these tracks. That's how the tagging system works. Which one of those do I put on this app to show you guys which one do you click on? That's the big challenge of all this, because if I put folk and you click on one of these, you're like, that's not folk. There's electronic elements in that. Like, why is this folk? That's wrong. Okay. If I put electronic, you might hear some kind of guitar playing on top. You go like, there's guitar elements on top of this. Why is this an electronic? This is totally wrong. So this is the tricky part, is basically the subjective judgment, putting a tag on a track to say this is house. Some do line up very easily, very, very quickly, but a lot don't. Music is this very subjective, kind of floaty, nebulous thing, and applying 4 different genre tags, you could actually make an argument like, yeah, each one of those actually does kind of work with this track, but I got to select one. I can't give you guys 4 different tags and say, all right, here are the tracks that are electronic, electropop, folk, and indie. Click on that. To me, that would cause way more confusion, right? I think we got to try to simplify this as best we possibly can. And these aren't going to always be perfect. And you're definitely not going to agree with all of them. That's for sure going to happen. So we're going to keep working on that. Maybe it's a matter of a better tagging model. Maybe it's also a matter of I might have to manually or hire somebody manually to go through the tags and kind of have a human double check on things to kind of make sure, does this to you feel like it's, reggaeton, or is it not quite fitting into that genre? So we're going to work on that part of it, but I definitely, I hear your point on that for sure, but it's not as simple as it sounds. It seems like it's just an easy thing you can do, and I don't necessarily think it is, because we are trying to pull a subjective art into objective data, and you're always going to have disagreements because the subjective world will never agree on what some particular genre of music is. I just don't think that's ever going to be possible. So kind of got to pick and choose our battles in a way, right? Yeah, so Felipe, the ambient genre, I think that's one that I have just solved, literally as of this morning. The ambient genre is, again, one of these things where the AI model is trying to do its best to categorize tracks that are not easily identifiable, because ambient means, what does ambient mean? Me, it's like spacious, kind of ethereal, ambient, right? Not really clearly defined. Well, that's exactly what's causing the confusion, is because some of you that upload an orchestral track, it says ambient, and you're like, well, this is my orchestral trailer cue. It's not ambient at all. This is orchestral trailer, right? Others of you have uploaded an electronic track that's kind of got a lot of synths and pulses, and it also called that ambient. Well, our trailer orchestral cue and a kind of moody synth wave, weird, pulsing track don't have a lot in common, right? But they're all sharing this ambient genre. So again, it does sort of hit a little bit of the limitation of what an auto tagging system can do, what an AI model can do to tag music again. What I just updated as of this morning is I think we can get past that ambient tag, and I think we can kind of just, based on what your track was uploaded, we can go to more either is it orchestral, is it electronic, right? That's usually where we kind of have to go from ambient. And so definitely log in right now to Felipe, because all of your results should have been updated as of this morning. I do have to make a couple of quick tweaks based on today's stream. But yeah, we're going to keep working on that one too. Ambient has caused a lot of confusion for a lot of members, and so I'm working on that for sure and trying to figure out the best way to deal with that, because it doesn't help. Ambient is not a very useful descriptor at all for us. So we're going to figure out how we can manually kind of tweak that. So. Interesting, Dreamcore, a community note that has an official tag, but in sort of a comment upvote section. That's interesting. Let me look into that and think about that. Yeah, because it would actually be very helpful for you guys to tell me in real time, hey, I got this tag and this is wrong. This is what I think it should be. That would be useful for me. Yeah, you know what? That's great. That's definitely going to the top of the list, because what it'll do is it'll at least alert me immediately to when you guys are having those kind of like dissonant moments of like, whoa, this doesn't feel right at all to my music. And that way I can kind of look immediately, okay, what was your track? I'll listen to it. What tags were applied to it? How did the system analyze it? Or what did it pair you with? And where did this sort of go wrong for you? So I can kind of see exactly where the problem points are. Because yeah, that's what I'm looking for. It's more back and forth. It's not so much about a community note, but more of like, can you just, I can make it something where you can just ping me with a little note of like, yeah, this is wrong. Like this, to me, this tag should have been X, Y, or Z or something. Like just something you could just immediately send a quick note. And then at the end of the day, I can kind of compile all those to find out where things were going wrong. Thank you for the suggestion. That's why we do these. So hello, Lara Long. Good to see you. Yeah, definitely feedback would be awesome. That would really be helpful. So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate it. You guys gave me some great food for thought and some suggestions, real ones that I'll definitely go to work on, and fixing a couple of things already that I just saw. So thank you so much. If you guys are in Sync Academy, obviously you guys can still sign up with our founding members rates. The link will be inside of the Sync Academy platform. It's also in Sync Edge Pro Feedback. If you're in any of our platforms, you guys will see the link to sign up. Still not available publicly. I will let you guys know when that's going to be ready to go. My hope would be in June, but we're, like I said, we're not rushing anything. So I'm just pacing myself. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of deep thinking about which decisions we make, where we go with this, what changes we implement. And so it's just not as obvious as just flipping a switch and just making it public. It's something that I really want to make sure I get right as I possibly can before we have potentially hundreds of more. We already have over 200 members that are using this, but I think, if all goes well, I think that, a public release of this will result in maybe thousands of producers coming on board. And so I got to make sure I'm prepared for that. And right now I'm still not. And yeah, for sure. Excel, once this is public, definitely. I mean, you guys can talk about it. I don't care if you guys make videos about this now. It's totally fine. It's not like it's a secret. It's, I'm making a YouTube video about it. But yeah, right now the sign up link is only available on the inside. So if there's something you guys want to make videos on and talk about it, feel free to. I'd love that. That'd be really cool. But thank you. Appreciate you guys' feedback today. And we'll obviously keep you guys updated with the new changes and updates as we roll them out. So you guys have a fantastic